Hi, CP chemistry students. I want to walk you through this molarity simulation so that it makes a little more sense before you dive into doing that. The link that you need to use is this PhET link right here, and we've done other PhET simulations before. You're going to have to get some answers to these questions here. So what is the solution, what is the solvent, and in this simulation, what is the solvent, and what is the solute? But I want to show you how this works. So here's the chart that you're going to need to work on filling in. When you click on the link above, it's going to bring you to this page. And so when we're talking about something called molarity, we're talking about concentration. And I like that it starts with drink mix because it's like making iced tea mix or Kool-Aid. And we're looking at how many moles we have of something per liter. And so it's just a way for us to measure that. I think it's easier to say and easier to understand if we go per liter. So if we fill this tank up so that it's filled up to 1 liter, then we can see what happens. This is how you put the drink mix in. You just sort of shake it in there and you can get the concentration. And what I didn't realize is to measure this concentration, we have to put this little device in here. So if we look back at what I'm asking you to do, I want to know, is this concentration saturated or unsaturated at 1 mole per liter? So I'm going to go ahead and go here, and I'm going to shake this, and you can see my concentration is going up. So it's at 0.58, 0.88. Oh, I went a little tiny bit over, but I'm close. So at 1 mole per liter, this is not saturated. And I'll show you what it looks like when it is saturated. But what you're going to go back to here, you're going to go ahead in this spot, and you're going to write no in here. Then it wants to know, is it saturated at 4 moles per liter? So let's go ahead and shake, shake. So you can see that if we're making Kool-Aid, we're adding more and more of that powder, and it's getting redder and redder, which is exactly what we would expect. Here I'm at 4. And again, not saturated, so I'd write no in here. So then it's like, well, what mole per liter does it saturate at? Sometimes it'll be here and it'll be yes, and then you'll have to see what that number is. But I'm going to go ahead here, and I'm going to shake. It's getting awfully concentrated. So I don't want to go too fast because you can see how red it is. I'm watching this. There it is, saturated. So as long as you don't have tons and tons of crystals on the bottom, go ahead with whatever number is there. So I'm going to put 5.960 moles per liter in this space here. That tells me what it saturates at. So saturated means nothing else will dissolve. So before that, it was all unsaturated, meaning I could continue to add more of that solute, which in this case is drink mix, and until it gets saturated, because any more that I add, so if I were to add a little bit more of this, is going to go ahead and just fall to the bottom. No more can dissolve, and that's what saturated means. If I want to play around with this, it's not part of the chart that you have to fill in, but if I want to go ahead and evaporate some of that water off, look what happens to my drink mix. It ends up at the bottom. So a bunch of it comes out of solution because it can't be dissolved in here. That's sort of the most that can be dissolved. If I add more water again, okay, a bunch more of my particles go ahead and redissolve. Let's say I have this drink mix and I go ahead and I drink a bunch of it. Drink about half of it, okay? So it's pretty sweet at this point, the whole thing. But if I go ahead and I add more liquid to it, notice what happens to my concentration. My concentration decreases by quite a bit. You know this. If you have iced tea mix and you drink half of it and then you fill the rest of it up with water, it's not going to taste as sweet. It's not going to taste as concentrated. So that's what we're studying. So we're trying to make this applicable to you. When you're ready to test the next substance, you can go ahead and just hit reset. Sort of gets you all back to the beginning. Here's all the substances that you need to test. You go ahead and pick another one. Go ahead and make sure you put you're measuring the concentration in there. I like to fill it up to 1 liter, but you don't have to because it'll do the ratio of being at a half a liter. And then just start shaking in some of your solute until you get to 1 mole per liter, 4 moles per liter, and then ultimately when it saturates. Let me know if you have any questions, but I think you should be able to complete that chart. And then once you complete the chart, I think you can go ahead and answer these questions for me and make sure you turn it in on Classroom. Thanks, guys.